What's going on, guys? Well, the time has finally come. I am finished buying the aerial bots. Air Raid came in the mail about a week ago, and I've been playing with him ever since. And the reason I haven't done a review until now is because I felt like initially I had a lot of hype for this guy. Number one, he finished off my Superion. I finally had a complete Superion, and overall, I was really excited about him. I don't know what it was, but the more I sit on him and the more I think about him, he really is a good toy, and he might just be my favorite of all the aerial bots. So let's take a look at why. Because when you look at him, he seems to be a lot of the same, but what makes him stand out that, would color my view of him so strongly where I just feel like he's my favorite? Let's go ahead and get the weapons out of the way. He comes with duplicate weapons. This is the gun from Skydive. You probably recognize it, except it's cast in a white plastic instead of black. Just for continuity's sake, I would have really enjoyed this being black, but I'll get to that later. He does come with the same hand-foot gun that Skydive came with, but instead of this little black piece being black, it's white on here. So you can differentiate. And something I do like is this feels much tighter, and this is more of a ratcheted. You can kind of hear it clicking. And then this is also very, very solid. It feels like a very solid hand. It's a perfect balance of what all the other ones are, because Skydive's feels really loose and floppy. And I'm trying to remember whose I have that's... Oh yeah. Fireflies is very rough on that joint, and then it also has a little bit of a ratchet, so it feels like a good balance between all of the hand-foot guns, and down to every detail it's the same as Skydive's. So the only bummer I really have about this guy is that his weapons are, number one, reused, and number two, I don't mind his gun being reused, the double barrel gun, but I wish that it was cast in black plastic. And the reason is when I use these on Superion, they don't match. So I use, because they're identical looking except for the color, so I try to stick them on either side, and it looks a little wonky. So I may try to see if someone wants to swap and likes the white ones better, and I'll send in my white and they can send me their black one. I don't know. It would probably be Kyle if he is watching. Hi Kyle, you may give me your black gun whether you like it or not. But anyway, this is the jet mode, and I'm not exactly certain what kind of jet it is. It has like the B1 wings where they stick out like this to gain altitude, and then they sweep back to become a sleeker jet. I don't know if this is supposed to be back like this permanently, but whatever. The front kind of looks like G1 Starscream, just the way the whole front comes together, and he also has these side scoops. You will notice, I'll talk about it more in robot mode, but he does have the same leg assembly as Skydive. However, this whole back piece is different. The only thing that this figure shares with Skydive is the nose cone is the exact same, and then the front panel of the legs, like you can see right here. Oh, and the upper arm assembly is the same too. But no, the whole front shin piece here and the foot, and then the inner workings of the leg fold is the same. And then this piece right here where his elbow is the same, and so is the nose cone. But everything else is brand new molding. But anyway, his jet mode is really cool, and I do like this playability of where you can splay his wings out and then put them back and act like he's going really fast. Comparing him to... Oh, we'll just stand him up next to Skydive. So there they are together. You can't really see because he's black, but all the detailing is different on the jet. It's completely and utterly different. Here he is with Firefly. You can kind of see, he to me looks sleeker than Firefly. Firefly looks like a more futuristic fast-flying jet, but this looks like old-school fast-flying jet, so I kind of like that. And then him and Alpha Bravo, which there's no similarities there. But you can kind of see here, if I can get them all in the shot, where Alpha Bravo can kind of sit right here. Wait, here we go. That's what we'll do. You can kind of see where the colors match. The white here, I mean, this is a good thing about these teams, is that their colors match, and they look different enough to where, you know, they're their own character, but their colors match to where you can tell they're on a team. The reds here, here, and here on Skydive are all the same. The whites here, here, and here on Firefly are all the same. The blues on Firefly and Alpha Bravo are the same. I don't think there's any blue on him. But yeah, then there's black on all of them, and then there's this goldy looking color that's the same on their on the side, and then here's some more red on Air Raid, and you'll notice this orangey color is not that gold, but where this orangey color matches is it matches Silverbolt. So it matches with another member of the team. So wherever you look, this guy matches with everyone on the team, and vice versa. So, there's his jet mode. Weapon mounting is the same as, if I can find his weapon, I'm like digging through all these weapons, is the same as it would be on anybody else. You just plug them on the underside of the wing, and when the wing is swept back, you do kind of, yeah, you do have enough room to plug that big gun on there. So I feel like they put the port in just about the right place. But there. So then you also see here how good it would look if this was black, because it would kind of sleek out the underside. But just to make it, just kind of show that. So that's what it would look like if the gun was black. And I think it looks better black. So, but we got stuck with a white one. And then you can also plug weapons into the side of his arms here. So there you have that. And then there's also a, well, I just unplugged his arm. There's also a plug on the top here. You can put it. So, but other than that, he doesn't have landing gear, but that was what I really liked about the Skydive mold. Whoops, my bad. Is that it doesn't have landing gear. It sits there just fine on its own. So, on to transformation. And one thing I did forget to say, now I'm editing it in where it doesn't look like I did, but I'm not going to lie to you people, I did forget to say it. I like how his vehicle mode looks sleek. All the panel lines line up really well. You can't even really tell from the front that this is a separate piece. And the arm is hidden really well. You can't even really tell that the arm's there. And from the top, you can't even really see a lot of the robot junk. Now that goes to bits when you open the wings up, but even then it still looks really sleek. And there's something about the way all this under here folds up that really sleeks it down and doesn't make it look near as bad as, you know, Skydive is still a little sleek because he's got these shoulder panels here, but if you see all these little indentions and crevices and hinges, and you can tell it's a robot. And here, I think where all this folds up, it just looks really nice and sleek, and so that's one of the benefits to the jet mode. So your transformation is going to be a lot of the same that you've seen, and actually he resembles Skydive most out of everybody, but there are a lot of differences actually with certain order, with the order that things need to be done in, and a couple different little ways to go about transforming this guy. So what I like to do first is I just kind of like to pull these wings up and get them out of the way. And then I kind of unpeg his arms and bring them up and out to the side like this. And then these tail fins are kind of on a neat hinge. They sit, because of the way they transform, they sit down below You can see they sit down below the wing, but then they fold up on this awesome hinge, and the way they're lined up, they sit flush here. So that's kind of neat. Now when you unpeg the arms, this panel back here, it kind of sits in here loosely, but the arms are the major component that keeps this rear section from moving. They stick on these friction tabs and everything just holds together really solidly. And one of my biggest complaints on Skydive is that this panel right here, they click in really hard, and then you can't even move this without untabbing the legs, so you're having to untab a lot of stuff to get something moving. On this, you can move the cockpit freely without having to even worry about moving the legs, but the legs are also not tabbed in very rough, is something I'd say. So what you do is you bring the cockpit down and fold it up, then you take these back panels of the legs, and then once again you're going to accordion fold all this down and close these up, split that. Just go ahead and for now bring the wings all the way up. Straighten his arms out, turn his head around, and then the wings, you kind of have free reign of what you want to do with his wings, and I'll move the camera up here in a little bit. You can leave them like that, or you can kind of angle them back like this to where they're very slim, like it just kind of trims his backpack up a little bit. What I like to do is I like to take these out one notch and flip them all the way down like this, and then stand him like this, and that way he kind of looks like he's got a cape on. So here we are in robot mode. You can see a little bit more of that aesthetic I was talking about with the whole backpack being a cape, and I think the biggest component of that illusion to me is the fact that he's gone through a massive color shift. He's gone from being a primarily black jet to a primarily white robot with red accent, and the black is all moved to the back layer. If you were looking at this from a 2D perspective, the back layer is what I'm trying to say. So the black is pushed backwards and really shapes out the figure, I think. It just, something about the black behind the white really looks good to me, and when you turn him around, I mean, you see there's a lot of black on his back, but just the way he changes color to me is really fascinating, and I like that the backpack is not intrusive. It's not in the way as much as I feel like Alpha Bravo, for example, his backpack is kind of in the way, and even Firefly a little bit, his backpack is in the way. I feel like this actually benefits him and gives him more of I don't know, it's kind of like he's got a sleek look. When you look at all the lines, they're all kind of coming down at this angle, and it really sleeks him down, but his robot mode is also chunky and G1 and really, really awesome. So I feel like he's got a lot of aesthetic things going on between being beefy and sleek at the same time and being a black jet and then a white robot. There's a lot of really cool, I guess you could call it eye candy going on at this time. So let's go ahead and bring in what I like to call his brother, because they're so similar, is Skydive. And here you can see the similarities between their legs. However, I think that Air Raid pulls it off just a bit better with the detailing on the knees and then the detailing in the shin. Those red paint apps, rather, really do make those legs look good. The black feet being painted that different color on Skydive, kind of, it works on his color palette, but they really make the feet look how small they really are. You can tell his feet are just nubs. But I feel like on Air Raid, it kind of works because they blend in a little bit better, so you're not noticing as much of the nubby feet as you would have on Skydive. And another thing I like about Air Raid, save for the screw hole that you see right here, is you don't see any of his screws or pins or hinges. Really, they're all hidden very well. Like I said, this is all white right here, so it kind of blends in, so you kind of see this hinge a little bit, but the way the detailing looks, and it's the same on Skydive, but because of the way they have it painted, it sticks out like a sore thumb that he has a hinge there. On Air Raid, it looks so fluid and it looks so good. And in the chest, you don't see any of the screw holes or the panel lines or the pins or anything on him. And I really like that about Air Raid. I like that he looks clean and he looks simple. Here he is with Firefly, and you can see where the white and red really looks good. Once again, you see the hinges. The way he's painted, you see his hinges, and you see the posts for the shoulders, just the way transformation works. And that's not by any means a detriment to the Firefly toy. It just makes Air Raid look really good when you don't see any of the inner workings. You just see a solid robot that still retains his posability. And then I'll go ahead and throw Alpha Bravo in there, and Alpha Bravo comes closest out of any of them to Air Raid, of not having a lot of pins and a lot of transformation junk, basically, or hardware junk showing. So yeah, that's them. And then I'm going to go ahead and, while I'm comparing them, oops, my light just jiggled, I'm going to go ahead and put the aerial bots all together, because I feel like, how did I have them before where they looked really good? Like that, and then Skydive comes over here. I feel like these guys look really good as a team, and, scoot! Anyway, they look really good as a team, and you can see here some more of their colors matching, and, ultimately, I'm really pleased with the way these guys have turned out. So let's go ahead and pull everyone out of here, and we'll talk about Air Raid's posability and some more of his robotic details, I guess, and his weapons, because we need to get back to this guy rather than comparing him to everybody else. His head is on a ball joint. Now, the one thing he doesn't have is he doesn't have that slit on the back of his head, but it's because of the head design, the way the paint wraps around and the way the dome is, which I perfectly am okay with, because if you really want him to look up, you can click that out. And yes, that leaves a little bit of a belly hanging out, but it's not that big of a deal to me. His shoulders swing out, and even though they have that cut here, even here, there you don't see any of the, I mean, a little bit right there, but you don't see a lot of the tech detail. So you do have free range of the shoulders, the ball joint. It swivels right there. You have an elbow bend and the ball joint on the neck. The waist is very tight, which is good. Same thing with Skydive, a joint on the hip, ball joint, a swivel on the shin, or the shin, no, that's the thigh. 90 degrees at the knee, and that just popped loose. And nothing at the foot. But then again, you've got your backpack posability, which I talked about earlier, so you could do that if you wanted. You could even swing them back like that. You could go kind of Starscreamy. That kind of looks like Batman. You could stick them straight down like that, but I prefer angling them back a little bit. Like I said, it just gives him that sleeker look. So yeah, I really think my points are the same here. I'm going to go ahead and just plug his guns in. My points are a lot of the same. He just looks good in robot mode. He looks solid. He looks like someone who could deal some damage, and he just feels really G1. And that's what I like about him, is even though the other guys have taken liberties, and I have sung praises about Alpha Bravo and him taking liberties and not being just another G1 guy, I feel like with the right dosage, you can make something G1 and new at the same time. And that's what I feel like Air Raid has done. So, without further ado, let's take a look at his limb modes. So right now we are closest to arm mode, so that's where we'll go first. All you gotta do is take the legs and put them together. Take the head, rotate it around like this, and then here's another good thing about this figure is they've revised the way the inner working of this ratchet joint works. You can tell it's got that ring to it, like the ring when it pops, and that you can tell that it really has been improved versus that's very flimsy. I mean, you just have to feel it. There's just something way more solid about this ratchet joint. So they've definitely made some improvements, and it could just go to this guy being a wave too. So what you do is you flip the wings up like this, take the arms, rotate them like that, and you bend them like that, and then there's a little peg that pegs onto the arm right there and mounts that right there. And then once again, because the way the arm is molded, you can't see the hand, which is genius. And then let's just rotate him this way, and then I like to split these little fins open a little bit to kind of give him a brutal cuff look, and then you just take the hand, like that. And so there's his arm mode. Need to bend it. There's the arm mode, and I think it looks really good. He definitely looks best as an arm compared to some of the other guys, because like I said, none of his robot detail is showing. His hands aren't visible. Like on Skydive, I like Skydive's arm, but his hands are straight up pointing right at you. And similar with Firefly, the arms are up in the way. This right here, it feels like they're hidden as much as they can be. So then we'll go to the leg mode, which is, I also leave the fins out like that for leg mode, and I'm going to need to take that off. So then you just collapse the legs. You're basically going to jet mode with the wings folded up, is essentially what it is. And you fold this down. Uh-oh. Yeah, you got to twist his head around. So there's that. Plug all this together. Make sure these hands are on there. And squeeze all that. Leave those up like so. The wings stay up like that. And then plug the foot on. And there is leg mode. And honestly, I think he works really well as a leg too. There's a lot of cool, I like the W shape to the knee right here, where the cockpit sits. You can see the hands, unfortunately. But if you're looking at it straight on, the way I've got the wings, the tail fin wings or whatever, you can't really see the hands just from straight on. But at that angle, you're looking down at it, so that's why you can see the hands there. But yeah, there's his leg mode. And ultimately, I think I like him best as an arm. But the leg mode is good too. I think he definitely is, in my opinion, I'll talk about it more when I do my Superion review, which is coming up next, pretty much immediately after I'm done filming this. I'll film Superion's review. But yeah, I think I like him as an arm best out of everybody, and he's definitely up there as one of the better legs. So yeah, that's Air Raid. I really like him, and I've honestly been surprised at how much I like him. And I hope you guys get a chance to pick him up. Now, before I say goodbye, I've been doing a lot of comedy skits before these episodes recently, and I have decided not to do one for this video. I don't think he required a skit beforehand. I planned on doing one until I got him. And when I got him, I was like, I think I just need to do the review, because the figure speaks for itself. And I'm a swimmer, and in swimming, when we do relays, there's a term, and the anchor is the last person to finish, the last person to swim in the rotation. And the anchor's job is to keep the lead that the team has. The anchor has a very, very large job to do in the relay, and that's what I feel like Air Raid is. I feel like Air Raid is the anchor. He's very solid, and even though it's just, I got him and it's like, oh yeah, his Superion's complete, I feel like he does a good job as a toy on his own, and he really solidifies everything I like about Combiner Wars. And and I've even heard he's not the best of Wave 2. If Combiner Wars continues on this trend that I feel like Air Raid has set, it's going to be a really good line. So yeah, I really think that Combiner Wars is going to be one of the best lines of Transformers toys in a long time. And I just hope that things get better from here. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Sorry if it was a little bit long, but you guys are the best. Talk to you later.